are, wherever that is. Episode 179 of Gracefully and Frankly. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt. I know that I'm in Port Stanley, Ontario. And where are you?
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario. So, too far away to be together this time, but close enough to do a podcast as usual.
So you are hanging with the littles.
Yeah, I am. My husband Rob and I, flew here from Victoria last Friday, and we're staying in a hotel near the airport. There was one we stay usually closer to the family, but they had this outrageous Saturday night rate of $800. And I'm like, you know you're a Hampton Inn in Barrhaven, right? So we just decided, no, we'd go a little bit further out, save $1,000. Plus, we have the shuttle to and from the airport, so we're saving a couple of nights of rental car. So it all works out really well.
Do they have a reason for that hike in rates for Saturday night? Is there some sort of convention going on or something?
No, I put it out there on social media. I looked everywhere. There's nothing going on at any of those places where things get super expensive. No Taylor Swift dropping into town. Nothing. So
Bruno Mars, nothing like that? Wow.
Nope.
Okay, so I'm dying to hear how it's going with the kids, but last week we left on a bit of a cliffhanger with Livy, and you were going to take Livy, your gorgeous little Havanese, to the vet and find out how many puppies she was carrying. What's the story? What's the latest? How's Livy doing?
Well, you wouldn't believe it, and we couldn't believe it. We're still gobsmacked. Our gobs are smacked and our flabbers are gasted. We had this all planned out, as we did. You know, Livy had been mated successfully April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, so we were down to week 7 of her gestation. So we took her to her vet up near the breeder in Cobble Hill, British Columbia on Vancouver Island. And first thing to do is to have them do some sort of a radiograph, kind of an X-ray ultrasound thing, and count the puppies. So Rob's sitting out on the porch on a bench with Dottie, you know, getting ready to light that proverbial cigar. And the vet comes out with Livy in her arms, and she just shook her head. And I thought, well, yeah, sometimes I shake my head when I'm holding Livy too. But no, she shook her head. She said, no puppies. And I went, what? And she said, no puppies. I said, oh my God. I was just so shocked. And I said, but what's in there? And she said, oh, a lot of poop. So that we knew anyway. But honest to God, Lisa, we were sure she had gained weight, that her belly was hanging lower, that she was losing bits of hair. Now, we didn't see her go off her food.
Yeah.
We didn't see her doing any nesting or any of the things that we had seen with Dottie 2.5 years ago in her pregnancy.
Like raiding the pickle jar in the fridge or anything like that.
Exactly. No going for Ben and Harry's dog ice cream, you know. But there is something called a phantom pregnancy or pseudo-pregnancy, a common hormonal condition in unspayed female dogs, which is Livy. It happens when a drop in the pregnancy hormone progesterone triggers an increase in prolactin, causing her body and brain to act pregnant, even though she has not conceived. There's fluid retention, weight gain, all those things. And the poor breeder, I mean, she was counting on a litter from Livy this summer, and now Livy won't be having any more litters, which is for us, yay.
Yeah.
So fortunately, too, I had contacted the border where Dottie was going to be going while we're here in Ottawa and said, just in case, do you have room for another one? And she said, sure. So we ended up delivering 2 dogs to the border on Thursday after the vet. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We were wishy-washy. Is she, isn't she? Is she, isn't she? And then we had talked ourselves into her being pregnant. But no, not at all. Isn't that weird?
I'm kind of torn. Yeah, I'm torn about it as an aunt. That on the one hand, I mean, she'd make beautiful puppies and she's such a sweet girl. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, she's done her time and maybe it's time for her to think about what Livy wants out of life.
That's right. And she doesn't care either way. Yeah, she did have a first litter that was just gorgeous and one that looked like Super Mario. But yeah, so we get both of them back and double the boarding costs. So that's going to be better part of $1,000, but still, worth it not to fly with them and put them through that and just let them have fun at camp with about 20 other Havanese dogs.
This is what I can't get over, how many there are in this one place. It's like, oh my goodness, this woman loves Havanese.
She really does. Her name is Trudy. She has a big farm property. She has horses, and she has Havanese, and she has some that are breeders themselves. It's all very much above board. They are award-winning dogs. Everybody is safe and loved and well-fed, and she has crates for all of them. She puts them in their crates with their food at night.
Which they love, right? They love their little crates because that's their little cave.
Well, exactly. And they're bigger than the crate they get at home. And I said, well, Trudy, I've got bad news for you because Dottie and Livy only eat at bedtime. And the bowl has to be brought up to the bedroom. So it's like, no, that's not happening. They adjust really quickly. And so they're both just doing fine. But while we were there, another little dog named Hannah was about to give birth. So in addition to all these adult dogs plus puppies, there were 4 or 5 more on the way. But Trudy's a champ. She is just salt of the earth, loves what she does, loves the dogs, and never, ever takes a vacation.
Wow. Okay, so from the little 4-legged littles to the 2-legged littles, Colin and Jane, how are they doing with you guys in Ottawa? Fun is all I can think of, is that with all of you together, just having fun together.
Oh, that's so what we're trying to do, Lisa. Colin is now 11 and Jane is 6, and they'll both be having birthdays in the next little bit, but they're both up to their eyeballs in baseball, different levels, of course, different teams.
Yeah.
And we got to see Jane in a game on Sunday and then a practice Tuesday night, and Colin in a game tonight, and he was in a game on Monday night where he was the difference in the team win. And so that was really exciting, more for him because his great aunt came from Kingston too to watch, and it was great. Except that it turns out that we were committing a major faux pas.
In what way?
We didn't find out till after the game, but we were sitting amongst other parents and grandparents, and some of them were for the blue team and some of them were for our red team. And, we were cheering and come on, Colin, and clapping, and Rob was whistling and stuff. But we were also clapping for good plays on the blue team side, too. We were cheering for everybody. So when the game was over, Rob went over to our son-in-law, to Colin's dad, and said, wow, this is a really quiet crowd. Like, what's going on? And Phil says, well, cheering is discouraged. First of all, what?
That's information that could have been imparted earlier.
Yeah. But the whole point is, I guess you're not supposed to make the other team feel bad.
Oh.
Lisa, help me understand anything,
I haven't raised kids in this environment or any other, and I don't know. I mean, how much do we protect someone's self-esteem to the point where the ones who play well don't get that extra
encouragement?
Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, maybe Colin is in, let me just take something as an example that I'm making up, art class, and it's not his thing, but other kids get praised. And, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. Now, I can see them not wanting it to turn into a hockey parent situation.
Yes.
And this is no diss on hockey parents, but there are some who absolutely can't control themselves and their emotions, and they get screaming at kids and at refs and everything else. So I can see that not being done, but I don't understand not cheering really excitedly. Yes, there was polite golf claps through the whole time, but, we're sitting there in the rain. We came, I don't know how many thousands of kilometers to watch this kid play and his sister, and we're not supposed to cheer? Yeah. I was looking for somebody to give me the side eye. And then I was going to go over and take a knee and say, okay, here's why we're here.
Right.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. I had it all worked out in my head because I was kind of noticing this,
Right. I'm no psychologist, so I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but it just seems the pendulum has gone too far the other way.
Who knows? But whatever the case, we're wrong, and that's the important thing because of our generation. So I don't guess you guys have been watching any of the Stanley Cup. Game 2 going tonight, Carolina and Vegas.
Yeah, keeping track of what happens, but not necessarily watching the game. I don't feel invested in it. What about you?
No, same.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a hate-on for Vegas, and people who follow the news might understand, and you might not, and that's okay. Although Mitch Marner, Toronto boy, it would be nice to see him bring the cup back, but I absolutely don't want Vegas to win. And the Carolina Habs series was, I think, for the most part, pretty clean. There was nobody to actively hate, like a Kachuk or one of those bad guys.
Right.
But there is in Vegas, so I don't care. I'm going to focus on the Jays.
All right.
Yep.
Well, yes, let's focus on the Jays. It's all about baseball anyway, because isn't Colin going to play for them one day anyway?
Well, that's our intention.
Right.
Yeah. But sports news this week and the death of Claude Lemieux, that was really a shocker to have a 60-year-old man who had just been honored by the Habs on the Monday to take his own life just a few days later. It was just an incredible, sad story. And then to hear that his family is donating his brain to a center for CTE research in the U.S., that says a lot about the dangers of playing hockey, the things these guys go through every time they hit the ice.
Yeah, especially when you're an enforcer, too. But this is Men's Mental Health Month, and men tend to suffer in silence and not go for therapy and not ask for help. And the point of Men's Mental Health Month is to try and change that, to say this is a temporary problem and reach out to somebody, whether it's a buddy or whoever. Maybe we can prevent some of these things from happening in the future to famous guys or any other guys.
Absolutely. May his death have much more meaning than just being a shock and bringing sadness to Habs fans and to hockey fans everywhere. Claude Lemieux gone at 60.
Men talking to men, one way they do that is by having an activity that they love together, like motorcycle riding. I think that does not just the riding, but the guys hanging with each other and talking about every little thing does more for their mental health, if that's what they love, than a lot of other things could, even a therapy appointment. Derek just bought another motorcycle.
Oh, my God. How many is that now?
Well, he's only got 2, and he is selling the other one. So this one is, if you know Harley's, it's a soft tail. It's smaller and lighter and easier to move around. The one he had, I no longer really ride with him that much, so the one he had was much bigger for riding with 2, had the big fairing on the front, much heavier. So it was just time to get something a little lighter, more for just him to maneuver around a little bit. So yeah, he is getting rid of the first one, but right now he has 2 bikes, and he's, I believe as we speak, he's washing them both. So
how is it that that's a time for bonding? Obviously, you can't talk while you're riding unless you're wearing those little microphone things. But tell me about how that is a bonding thing. And it can be for women as well, of course.
Oh, sure. Well, it's usually they go to a destination, they go get a coffee or they go have lunch or whatever, and they inevitably start talking about their bikes, and then they talk about other stuff. I've never had Derek come home and say, oh, so-and-so opened his soul to me. But I know they talk about a lot of things like jobs and work and trouble with guys at work or whatever, and kind of get it out of their system. So it's just that time to get, they usually have a destination where they sit for a while and have a break.
And it is the feeling of the wind on your face, not in your hair, of course, because many of them don't have it. And also helmets, thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's nicer that he's got a lighter bike, because they're easier to handle, and they're not so hard on your body either, are they?
No, and that's the biggest concern right now, is that when he's, for example, backing it out of a trailer or something, those big, heavy ones. I mean, it's not that he can't do it, but it's just he doesn't need that bulk on the bike anymore, so why have it?
Right, it'd be like, oh, I don't know, moving a washer and a dryer up or downstairs.
Yeah. If one was foolish enough, oh, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. And we still haven't used the darn things. We haven't been home to do them.
But what really helps is not having the pain of his knees or his hips when he is doing that kind of maneuvering because of Sierra Sil. Derek takes it, I take it, you take it, Rob takes it. Everybody cool takes Sierra Sil because it stops the joint pain, and that's exactly what it's for. It's all natural, made in Canada.
In fact, they do have a guarantee that if you don't feel a difference in your pain management within 14 days, that's why it's Joint Formula 14, You could just return it to get your money back.
Check it out for yourself at the website, sierrasil.com. Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com, and use the code GF for 14% off.
There is something wonderful and familiar about being with friends, having activities, going to a place where everybody knows your name.
Yes. Yeah, Cheers. We've been watching it from the beginning again, and I think we've only got one season to go, just here and there. And they did a retrospective, Erin, for episode 200, I think, or 100 maybe. I don't remember. But anyway,
Yeah.
so they had all the cast members there talking about their characters and how much they love each other and all these things. And then they did sort of a montage with the entire theme song, not just the little bit that we hear in the show, because remember the first few years they played a chunk of it, and then as you get used to it, they cut it down and it got shorter and shorter. Have you ever heard the whole Cheers theme song?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have, and it was named like Best TV Theme Song of All Time, and it was nominated for an Emmy and all of these other things, and everybody knows it pretty much, but I never, ever heard the other lyrics, and we were just gobsmacked. We looked at each other and went, are you kidding me? So the only part we hear, everybody knows, making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.
Right.
Wouldn't you like to get away, right?
Sometimes you gotta go.
Where everybody knows your name,
Yeah.
right? There are two more verses.
Really? Okay, do tell.
Okay, here's the second
Okay.
verse. All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail,
Woo.
and your third fiancé didn't show. What?
Wow, that's dark.
Yes, it is dark. And then there's the third verse, and it goes, roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead, the morning's looking bright, and your shrink ran off to Europe and didn't even write. And your husband wants to be a girl. We're talking the 80s here.
Wow.
Like how we just could not believe it. We were stunned. Anyway, that's the rest of the Cheers theme. You'll never get that out of your head now.
Yeah. It's like when people actually listen to the lyrics of Suicide is Painless, the MASH theme song.
Exactly. At least they use, well, that's true. They only use the music for that.
Yeah.
And they never use the lyrics. And this one was just creatively edited. But the other thing in our house is that Derek, I think years ago in radio, interviewed the guy who wrote the song. His name is Gary Portnoy.
Of course it is.
So when we hear the theme and there's that little piano part, we go, by Gary Portnoy. And it's just, we drive each other crazy with it. And anyway, the Cheers theme looms large in our house. There you go.
Wow.
Who knew? The kid hung the cat up by the tail.
Yeah, okay, here's where we show the rainbow swish and the more you know. We learned some stuff from your blog last week because you were talking about a wool allergy. I don't know how this stuff comes up, but a lot of people claim to have it. So,
Yeah.
But have we had the wool pulled over our eyes in this?
Apparently, because one of our Gracefully and Frankly listeners had recommended merino wool socks for hiking and for lots of walking and that kind of thing. My first thought was, well, I'm allergic to wool. And then I thought, well, because I have been all my life. So I thought, I get itchy and scratchy and red and hives and hot and all those things. And I looked up merino wool because I didn't know a lot about it, and it's one of the softer fibers, and went down this rabbit hole and discovered that science has deduced that there's no such thing as a wool allergy.
What?
There's a sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are more sensitive than others, but there's no such thing as an allergy. It isn't a true allergy. Same with feathers. You don't have a real allergy to a feather pillow. What you have is more dust mites inside the feather pillow because the feathers hold on to them, which is really gross, and I can see a lot of people throwing their feathers at me. But yeah, it's the truth. And so many of us who think we're allergic to wool will have to rewrite that narrative because now we know it doesn't exist, and it's a sensitivity to it.
That is astounding. So are you going to change anything about what you believe or what you try?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm still not going to try the big, heavy wool sweaters because I know that the big fiber is what the problem is. It's sort of a sensitivity to it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give other things a shot. I mean, when we went to Iceland years and years ago, I found the only acrylic hat on the entire island because I was convinced I was allergic to wool.
Jeez.
So I think it's worth trying out, some of the finer wools and see if I can wear them.
Well, some of the finer fibers, period, too, because also there are so many synthetic things that people just don't agree with or that don't agree with them. But when it comes to Envy Pillow, which stays clean, doesn't poke at you or make you sneeze, I was just reading an email from Kathy and Kim, the Canadian co-founders of Envy Pillow, and they're saying, look, we know you're invested. You love your pillow. And a lot of people really, really do. I mean, look at us, our hotel room here in Ottawa. We've got 2 Envy pillows and we brought them with us. But you can just buy the pillowcase and it's better than silk. It's the most beautiful fabric on your skin. It helps keep your hair in place. It doesn't remove hair, unfortunately. That'd be great. A pillowcase that plucked your chin. Oh, I'm in there. $1 million idea. Okay. And it feels so good on your skin, and none of those mites, none of those things because of the copper infusion. If you don't want to buy a new pillow, we get that. But take a look at their pillowcases. They could be the stuff that dreams, quite literally, are made of.
envypillow.com is the website with a V, ENVY pillow.com. You can take a pillow quiz there and find out which pillow is right for you. Look at the pillowcases, look at everything else. Use the code GF for 10% off.
Do you ever have a small world story? I'm sure this has happened to you in the past, where you run into someone and within just a few minutes you find out you've got so many things in common. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I can't think of a specific time, but what happened to you?
Well, this actually also includes you because of the final destination. So we're at the Home Hardware on Pender Island, and we get talking to this guy who's unloading a propane tank from the back of his truck, and we have to replace ours. So Rob asks where to take it, and on and on and on. So then we go into the hardware store together, and just because I love to talk to people, we said, where are you from? And he said, oh, we cottage here, but we live in Edmonton. And I said, oh, sorry about your Oilers. And he said, actually, and then he looked around kind of over furtively. He said, I'm a Leafs fan. And we said, oh, we are too. We're from Toronto. And he said where he grew up, which was Ancaster. And Rob said, oh, yeah, I know where that is. I was raised in Brantford. And the guy says, I was born at Brantford Hospital. And Rob said, so was I. So, I mean, in the course of a 5-minute conversation, 2 strangers in a parking lot found out that they were born in the same hospital. And, of course, that's the hospital you were born in, too.
Exactly. And my grandmother helped deliver me. She was a head nurse there. Let's talk about small world. Wow.
It just shows how connected we are if we just kind of get out of ourselves and talk a little bit. And really kind of complaining about the Leafs is as ubiquitous as whining about the weather. It's always going to be a conversation starter. So, yeah, isn't that funny? And then as we parted, I had so many questions. I said, oh, my gosh, you might have gone to school with his older brother or sister or his parents. You just never know. You never know.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Jeez.
Who would have thought?
Exactly. But I did think of you because I knew that was your hospital too. And when you are starting up a conversation, it's okay to tell people that you've found this great podcast that you love about 2 women, and it just sounds like you're sitting at the table next to them, listening in on their conversation. We love that when people say that about Gracefully and Frankly. But you know what we love even more? When you join the conversation.
Yes. Debbie Block Elliott sent this week's voice message. And remember the story I told about being a youngster pinning bugs with my neighbor Greg Smith?
Yes.
For a summer.
Hannibal Lisa. I remember it well.
Apparently I wasn't alone. Here's Debbie.
Hello, Aaron and Lisa. I just listened to your latest podcast and came to the realization that Lisa and I could be besties. The bugs on the pins. Oh my God, did that take me back to my childhood? And even now, swimming in our pool, I'll find the biggest, perfect condition bug and think, I should put that in my bug box. That would go great. Too bad I'm about 50 years too late. And Lisa, the shaking of the phone to get your steps. Kudos to you for admitting it, first of all. I walk every night with my husband, and he's constantly checking his steps on his phone. He can never figure out why, at the end of our walk, I always have more steps than him when we walk practically the same distance. That'll be our little secret, though. Love you, ladies. Keep up the great work. You make walks go by really fast.
Oh, yeah, you two are sisters from different misters with the step counter and everything. Thanks, Debbie, so much. We love you too, and we're just so grateful to be keeping you company on your walks and as you observe the bugs in the pool and everything else. That's great. Oh,
I love that somebody else did the bug thing. Yes, so all you need to do is go to gracefullyandfrankly.com, look for the little microphone, just press it and talk. Be sure and tell us who you are and where you're from, and that's all there is to it. If it takes a couple tries, that's quite all right. We don't mind. We'd love to hear from you and whatever you want to share.
I think it's time. It's time. I mean, I am in Ottawa. It'd be so easy to just look around and find a twit. You know, government. But it is time for This Week in Totally Stupid or...
Twits! All right, you have a big twit this week.
I do. And I suspect that you, Lisa, or anybody else who has traveled recently, will also have wondered the same thing. When and why did they start doing away with bathroom fans?
Makes no sense.
It doesn't. Is it a cost-saving measure? They don't have to do as many ducts? I just don't know. This hotel we're in is probably at least 20 years old. It's not relatively new by any means. It's fine, but there's no bathroom fan. And when you are staying with someone or more than someone, you're not going to get the privacy that you want. It gets awkward when you tell them to go down and use the one at the gym. So, no, it's just, it's all wrong. Tell me when.
It's very wrong. So what do? Do you take a radio in with you or?
A radio? A radio? No, that's not the sense that we're worried about. What we have are these little tiny, tiny travel. They're as big as your thumb, and it's called Just a Drop. And you can use it on a plane, you can use it in the bathroom, you can use it anywhere, and you just put a little drop in before you drop in, and then it helps mitigate any lingering sense that you were there. And then I've got hairspray as well, so that's a pretty expensive bathroom spray, Miss Davis, but I need to eliminate any sense that I was ever there.
And the other thing that a fan does is act as a bit of a warning sign as well. Like if you go in, you're on your own. Yeah. So if you don't have that, that's unfortunate.
If this fan's on, you should get gone. Yeah. That's it.
Well, whoever did that, whoever decided on that is an absolute twit.
Yes, indeed. And I heard from a lot of people, Lisa, who said, what about the glass doors in bathrooms that you can see through, or that in some hotel rooms there's a big glass, sort of a fog glass window that separates the bathroom from the sleeping area? Well, that's fine. You got privacy. But if you go in the night and turn the light on, suddenly you're in Hollywood clique lights in your bed. It just, somebody use your head here.
You know, the other thing I'm finding too is it's happened several times where there's only been one night table and lamp on one side of the bed and not on the other. And it's like, hello.
Yeah, and always bring a short extension cord. You never know what the room's going to be laid out with. And we all have so many devices to charge, so that we can listen to our favorite podcasts, we can watch ER on Netflix or Cheers in your case, and so that we can record a podcast episode from the road.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, I hope you get through without your fan, your number one fan.
That'll always be you, honey.
Yeah, that's true.
And speaking of number one fans, are we going to talk about your latest book or wait until it's fully baked and out for the world to taste?
Well, the cover is out. I posted it on the Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page, and the ebook is up for pre-order, but it's still baking. It will be out on the 25th of June.
All right. We'll be counting down, and don't let Lisa's modesty, as usual. She always talks about it like it's something that's on the bottom of her foot. Lisa has a new book, and it's very good, and I've had a chance to read it, and I love it, and I'm very excited for it. So just count down to that in June. There's nothing wrong with promoting yourself. Just don't cheer at little people's ball games.
It's hard. It's difficult. Yeah, that's right. It's difficult.
It is difficult, but I'll always be your biggest fan.
Thank you.
Why aren't you in my hotel bathroom? Okay. So on that note, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for spending time with us wherever you are. And please feel free to leave calls at our Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page, gracefullyandfrankly.com. Scroll down to the right, there's the microphone. Or to the left, you can buy us a coffee. Because goodness knows when you're traveling, you need it. Thanks, Lisa.
That's right. All right. Have fun with everybody. Talk to you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.